Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and once again, this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. In this episode, we'll talk about the preliminary roster submitted by our Gilas Pilipinas program for the men's 5-on-5 team. This is for the 2023 Southeast Asian Games that will be held, or I think some of the events have actually already started, no? in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. And then we'll talk about what the final 12 could look like, because the submitted preliminary roster is not yet the final roster, okay? But what it could look like, and then we'll spotlight some fan comments as well. And then in a succeeding episode, we'll talk naman about the competition that we should expect from the SEA Games, no? When hostilities begin. I think that's going to be in about a week's time on May 10 over there in Phnom Penh. All right, so I think it was less than 24 hours ago when the preliminary roster of Gilas Pilipinas was actually submitted officially to the Cambodia Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee, or the CAMSOC. Now, the preliminary roster is just a 12-man team, or 12-man list we're submitting to Cambodia that is extracted from the initial 28-man pool that the SBP already submitted to the CAMSOC. Now, why do we have a preliminary roster? No? So that, all the organizers, all the teams, all the coaching staff, all the teams, they can kind of take a look at each other's submitted rosters, try and see if there are any adjustments to make, and then if there are changes to be made, kung may ma-injure, for example, or let's say the coaches want to change a few players, that's still possible. I think they're going to have one final either eligibility or teams meeting before the actual opening day of the 5-on-5 basketball competitions in Phnom Penh. It's very similar to what we have in FIBA and in the UAAP, in the NCAA, where you submit an initial roster or pool. Eventually, like a few days or a day before the opening day of the tournament, then all the teams get together with the management committee or the eligibility committee, and then you finalize everything. And if changes need to be made or will be made, then these changes get approved in that final meeting. That's generally how it goes. Okay, so let's talk about the final 12. We're going to base this on this article from spin.ph. Okay, so from these 15 players will come the Gilas team, tasked to reclaim Southeast Asian Games gold. And you have a really nice montage here, or a nice collection of pictures. So we have, of course, you have Mason, the Phillips brothers, Jerome Estimosa, CJ Perez, Christian Sanharden, and all these other great guys. Okay. From the 15 players currently gathered at the Inspire Sports Academy in Calamba, Laguna, will come the Gilas Pilipinas team that will be tasked to reclaim Southeast Asian Games basketball gold in Cambodia. No more, no less. Naturalized player Justin Brownlee and Barangay Ginebra teammates Christian Stan Hardinger and Jeremiah Gray lead the 10 players for the PBA that will be available for selection for the final 12-man SEA Games lineup. Okay, so that's Brownlee, CSH, and Jeremiah Gray. And then they're joined by CJ Perez, Chris Ross, and Marshall Lassiter of San Miguel. You have Calvin Oftana of TNT. Now, interestingly enough, Oftana, in the past few articles we've read, and I think in one past episode we had, he was not part of the group of people, at least not reportedly, okay, practicing in Meralco. But I'm happy that he looks to be in Inspire now and is actually practicing with Gilas. Okay, Aaron Black, Chris Newsom of Meralco, Arvin Tolentino of Northport, and Brandon Goodwellas Rosser of NLEX. 4 college players are also available for selection, namely Mason Amos of Ateneo, Jerome Lastimosa of Adamson, and the Phillips brothers of De La Salle. Okay, so National Coach Chot Reyes does not expect any new additions. So meaning a pool that started with 28 will only have 15 available when the 12-man lineup is submitted to the technical committee on May 7th. So unavailable original players or unavailable players from the original pool for various reasons are Junmar Fajardo, Mikey Williams, Jamie Malonzo, Stanley Pringle, Japeth Aguilar, Scotty Thompson, R. Pogoy, Poy Aram, Raymond Amazan, Kevin Alas, Shawnee Winston, Kevin Kiambao, and US-based AJ Edu. Alright? So it's a pretty lean pool that Coach Chot and his staff will be picking the final 12 from. Obviously, there's so many big names and so many literally big players here, no? From this list that just cannot make it to Cambodia for varying reasons. Okay, of course, the initial reaction we have is a bit of disappointment that we don't have that full complement of 28 players, and we don't really want to speculate anymore about why that is the case. But this is the lay of the land. It's the cards that we've been dealt with, that the coaches have been dealt with, and we just have to make the best out of it as possible. All right. So there you go. Let's look at some fan comments. Okay, arising from this development. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the fan comments on Spin's Facebook page, and let's see, how Filipino comments can be. They can be from a wide range or varying levels of reactions, right? Okay, this was from Melinda Timbang. Much better kung lahat ng players ng nag-champion TNT ang isabak para diretso na. That is complete team from coach to the player. So, mukhang dapat Team Pilipinas TNT na lang yata ang pinadala natin. No? So, I'm not sure about that. Okay? Roger says, this team is too strong. Just SEA games only. All of these players should be allowed to play because other teams are too weak, like Cambodia and Malaysia. Well, I agree that Cambodia and Malaysia should not be threats to Gilas, but I think the main thing here is because we lost last year, the onus to reclaim the gold is really, really strong. The sense of urgency is really, really high. And considering our opposition, I'm going to talk about this in our next episode, but Indonesia is going to field as many as 3 naturalized players. Thailand is fielding nearly all of their elite Thai foreigners in this tournament. So it's going to be, the competition potentially, is going to be even tougher than it was last year. Okay? Alright, of course, it's never good to underestimate your opponents, diba? So JB Gubala says, please include Sean Anthony, even if he's not a pool member, I guess. He volunteered as a practice player, so we think he's deserving for a final lineup this SEA Games. I think that we should applaud Sean Anthony. What he did to train with Gilas is absolutely admirable. But unfortunately, technically speaking, because he was not part of the original 28-man pool, he cannot be added to the final 15 or 12-man roster. And even if we force him or force the issue, the technical committee in Cambodia will shoot it down. Okay, so might as well not do that lang, right? Okay. All right. So all the others here, Rolando Salonga, why not call on Jason Castro? I guess this is Josh Munzon, Paul Lee, Calvin Abueva, Mark Baroca, Kelly Williams, Kim Montalvo, Arvin Santos, Willie Navarro, Will Navarro, and Juan Son. Who's the Juan Son? Is that Wami Chong Son? I'm not sure who Juan Son is. But the difficulty kasi when forming a national team is you have a limited number of slots that you can fill. And I kind of know this from my experience in Batang Gilas. No? You can only name as many as maybe 28 or sometimes 24 lang. And obviously, you'll hindi may iwasan, you're gonna leave some people out. Okay? So if these guys, if Castro, Munzon, Lee, Abueva, Baroca, Williams, Montalvo, Santos, Navarro, and Chongson were all included in that 28-man initial pool, who are you gonna take out? That's the other side of the coin, right? You can't have a 50-man pool. Okay, you have to submit an initial pool and then a preliminary roster after that. That's just the rules that all the countries play by. So we have to abide by that. No? I'm sure many people within the coaching staff are probably wishing for the same thing, that these guys will be available. But the reality is they're not. Okay, so, but I understand, no? As Filipino fans, we want the best to represent us. And for some of us, these guys are among the best. So it's perfectly understandable. Grabe naman to. So Esmeno says, Phil-Am national team. Okay, I have no problem with that. These are all Filipinos, right? Whether they were born in Quezon City or in San Francisco or in Hong Kong, in TJ Perez's case, or wherever. If they went through the effort and the process to obtain Philippine citizenship, that's not easy. If they went through all the effort to study, to live, to play here in our country in front of Filipino fans, to represent our country, then why should we really distinguish, right, between locals and Phil-Fours and stuff like that? For me, I'm not even sure if that's worth. Of course, I'm talking about it now, but I'm not sure that's the point of this kind of discussion. Right? Alex asks, where's Kwame? Ange is injured. I initially thought he was going to play for a 3x3 team, but maybe not even. He's still injured, so just can't. It's not possible for him to suit up right now. Okay? So a lot of other reactions here. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and go through, and this is an exercise I think we already did before. Okay, a tier list. Okay, so we have our 9, 10, 11, 12. I think these are 15 or 16 guys. Okay, so the 12, okay, I think we're going to have Chris Ross is going to be one of our guards. Christian is going to be, of course, our big. Newsom at the wing. I'm not sure if Aaron, if I were there, I hope Aaron makes it. Okay? I hope Arvin makes it. Definitely Brandon's going to make it as one of our bigs. CJ is going to be there. Okay? Brownlee, I think, is going to be like a hybrid. Okay, winger big. Ben, not so sure. Marshall definitely is going to be there. I think he's going to be mainly a wing guy. Mason, I'm not so sure. Mamaya na si Mason. So let's see. Jeremiah, definitely. He'll probably play a big. Calvin, I think, is going to be a wing. If this is our 11, tempting to put Mason as a big or Jerome as a guard. All right. I guess, given this roster, yeah, probably Mason would be a big. Okay, Mason would be a big. And yeah, this is what we're going to run with, I guess, in the SEA Games now. I'm tempted to put Jerome there because we need another point guard. Okay, because CJ, Aaron, and Marshall technically aren't point guards. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jerome is actually put there in place of, let's say, Mason. Okay, and then Brownlee could be a utility big. Arvin can play some minutes as big guy as well. Marshall's going to be a wing. It's not going to be a tall lineup, definitely. But tall enough, I think, for the SEA Games. I think it'll be tough lang when we go up against Thailand with their Thai foreigners and with Charatip Jakrawan up front. He's going to provide a big challenge for Christian and Brandon. And especially when we face Indonesia, potentially in the gold medal game, Indonesia, as I'm going to discuss it tomorrow, but they're going to have Lester Prosper, they're going to have Anthony Bean, probably Marquise Bolden again, although he might not be 100%. Derek Xaviero might not be around because I think he's still recovering from a lung injury. But who knows, diba? Maybe they're just, baka tinatago lang ng Indonesia yung cards nila, yung barahan nila, diba? We'll see. But it looks like this is going to be the roster. And it's not a bad roster. Good enough to win gold, I think. Guaranteed gold, definitely not. But, whatever happens, right? Whatever happens, we just have to support our team, support Gilas despite the imperfections of our program, our players, our staff. We can talk about accountabilities and areas for improvement, I guess, after the tournament itself. But as we head into it, let's, throw our support their way. They're in a far from ideal situation, and they're just making the best out of it. And I just hope we can all support them, and hope that they accomplish the mission, which is to reclaim the gold and bring it back here to the Philippines. If you like this topic, then you should like our future talks as well. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss Thailand and Indonesia. As always, we're going to spotlight fan comments and reactions because we value your insight. We value what you think. We value that engagement. Our next episode is, again, for tomorrow. So watch out for that. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA.basketball. Follow me on Twitter at HoopNut or Instagram at TheHoopNut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.